What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on into today's edition of Phillies Game Recap as we are discussing Monday night's action at CBP as the Phillies got a much-needed 4-1 victory. And as we discussed prior on TikTok and on Owen Philly Sports, the Mets series absolutely sucked. And the reality of you not being able to compete in the NL East, you not beating the team that you hate the most within this division, absolutely is gut-wrenching. But as we discussed, it is what it is. You still have an opportunity here to break an 11-year playoff drought. And you just have to go full throttle, continue building the pieces to get prepared for the playoffs. And this game on Monday night was truly important for the fact that you wanted to see how the psyche was for this Phillies team. As we always talk about in sports, a short-term memory is extremely important. And for the Phillies going into the series against the Reds, look, I know it's the Reds. I know they are a trash baseball team. But when you think about what the Mets have done to this Phillies team, you do not know what the reaction is going to be for the Phillies. And they did a great job of responding. It's like they literally forgot that they lost yet again another series against the Mets. They have yet to win a series against the Mets in 2022. And that is exactly what you want to see. You had some great bats here today from Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, Nick Cassiano's guys stepping up. But I think the main story and the main takeaway from this game would absolutely have to be a solid outing from Noah Syndergaard. He gave you distance yet again, and he continues to putting on more and more starts. And I have to I have to agree with Rob Thompson's thinking because maybe putting him against the Mets wasn't a good idea, but going up against the Reds, he's still this is what now this was his fourth start as a member of the Phillies, and it's been getting better and better as it goes on, and we'll to dive deeper into that. We'll talk about this game, but I want to welcome everyone into today's Phillies game recap. Again, we're back on YouTube. Last night we had a rain delay. It was supposed to start at 7:05. There was some. I was in the rain. There were some thunderstorms and there was an absolute monsoon. We're talking freaking waterfalls in the roads, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Philadelphia area. So this game got pushed back, I believe, like 45 minutes or so. But I was out running errands. As everyone knows, bought a new home. Me and my girlfriend did our first food shopping, just like shopping for stuff for the house. We obviously bought paper products, cleaning stuff as well, things that we needed. Dropped a pretty penny on it, but then got home, got straight to watching the Phillies, and got done the game around 11:30 midnight. So figured let's push it back into the morning. Let me get my thoughts all marinated, you know what I'm saying, so we could talk about this game because this was definitely a fun one. This is one that we absolutely needed. But let's get straight to it, ladies and gentlemen. And this one we're going to pick up in the bottom of the second inning, where it is a 0-0 ball game. But leading off, you have Nick Castellanos in the bottom of the second. On the third pitch of this at-bat, Nick Castellanos takes a 82 mile per hour slider and rips this bad boy into center field, right in that bush area that you see there in center field, and that would put the Phillies up 1-0. Right after that, you got Sir Bryson Stott off the second pitch, a low 93 mile per hour four-seam fastball. It was pretty close to him. It was on the inside of the plate, and he took this bad boy. He lifted this onto the second deck. He hit the top of the scoreboard that you have there on the second deck. He hit the top of that, and that got the Phillies up 2-0, thanks to your two leadoff guys with 0 outs, hit back-to-back home runs, and the Phillies would be up 2-0. In the bottom of the third, they added an extra run thanks to a Nick Castellanos double. JT Realmuto showing off his athleticism yet again. Runs from first all the way to third. Jake Fraley over in right field, misjudging the run by JT Realmuto. Throws this ball, I guess tries to throw this ball to third base. It was a weak throw, and JT Realmuto, just the minute he touched third base, hit it for home plate. And we all know his athleticism. Dude is really freaking fast. And thanks to that, Nick Castellanos was also able to get to second base, as we all know. That's pretty impressive because he's not the fastest mother effer out there. And then, of course, JT Realmuto was able to get to home base. In the top of the fifth, the Reds would tack on a run. We would not, unfortunately, get the shutout. Austin Romine would hit his first career home run to left field, and this was an absolute bomb. And now it is a 3-1 ball game, and we want to see how that would play out for Noah Syndergaard, because obviously he let a home run, but he's done a pretty good job so far after allowing runs to continue his play like nothing happens. In the bottom of the fourth inning, JT Realmuto himself will hit a double. big game for JT Realmuto as well. And then of course Alec Boehm would score from second to, and he would get to home plates. I'm sorry, and that would make the score 4-1, and that would be the difference here. The bullpen would close it out as Noah Syndergaard would go 7 strong here in this inning. And you had Sam Coonrod in the 8th, and you had Andrew Bellotti in the 9th inning. So overall, the pitching looked really, really solid here. And look, I know it's the Cincinnati Reds, and I know they're not the best team possible, but we have seen this team, recently this year, years past as well, losing series to teams that are not that good, right? And so being able to take care of business, especially the psyche after that Mets series, you don't know where this team's mindset is at after the way that Mets series went. So being able to have that short-term memory and to come out here and have themselves an absolute game, it was really refreshing to see, and it made you feel a little bit better as a fan. Now, when I'm looking at the performances here from this team, I got to start with the arms here today because, looking at Noah Syndergaard, we obviously just discussed it. Was expecting him to go out there against the Mets, right? But he didn't do it. And, it actually worked out because Bailey Falter, out of all the pitchers on the weekend, had the best outing as he was the one that went the deepest out of all the pitchers in the lineup here. And so seeing him go 7 innings strong, he only threw 89 pitches as well, which is truly great. Because I think the last start he had, it was like 6 innings, but he only threw like 70-some pitches. Or no, 7 innings, he threw only 70-some pitches. He could have gone deeper in that 8th inning. He started off that 8th inning, but Rob Thompson pulled him out there. But 3 hits only allowed, 1 earned, 1 strikeout. He did walk 2. He's at a 3.77 ERA. It's a work in progress here for Noah Syndergaard. But I'm feeling much more positive and feeling much more comfortable with Noah Syndergaard in there. I do want to see him against some stiffer competition because he's only played against the likes of the Reds. It's essentially, I'm trying to think of his other starts, but I want to see him play against some stiffer competition. And it's obvious that we always talk about how the power of Thor is no longer really there, but he's working the strike zone, and he's got that off-speed pitch is working for him as well, and it was working here to date as well. I mean that home run, what are you going to do? It was a good shot by Romine, but good outing here by Noah Syndergaard, and then we got to see for myself the first time I see Sam Coonrod in 2022, and holy fucking crap, what an outing! 11 pitches in that 8th inning. He had 2 strikeouts. Dude, where was that? I did not see that Sam Coonrod last year when he was here in Philadelphia. That was a great 8th inning for him. Great job coming in relief. And it's been tough for him. He's been dealing with injury. This bullpen isn't what it was in years prior. There is some stiff competition, and obviously with the injuries to Corey Knebel and of course to Seranthony Dominguez, it allows an opportunity for a guy like Sam Coonrod to come in here and give something to this baseball team and show that he can be a part of this relief pitching staff. And he had a great 8th inning with Bellotti getting his opportunity for the save. Slider was working, ladies and gentlemen, and he got the win here. He threw 18 pitches in that inning, but he was able to get out of it with 2 strikeouts as well. So the pitching definitely got the job done. But yeah, I get it. It's the Reds. It's the Cincinnati Reds. But you gotta love seeing that. The bats really today, it was about the middle part of that lineup. And I'm talking your 3, 4, 5 slots. Bomer, Realmuto, and Nick Cassianos all provided some hits from that barrel. And they obviously provided majority, if not most of the offense. And you can throw Bryson Stott in there as well, who's in your 6 slots here today. But Bowen went 3 for 4 here today, finding ways to get on base yet again. Obviously had that RBI double in the bottom of the 5th inning. And then of course Nick Cassianos, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to talk about him real quick because Nick Cassianos has looked much, much better. And I think it's one of those situations where you got to be real and you got to be honest with yourselves. Now, here's the thing. Over the last 25 games for Nick Cassianos, and this is from Corey Seidman of NBC Sports Philadelphia, his batting average is a 347. It's almost 350. That's pretty damn good. He's had 6 doubles, 4 home runs, and 12 RBIs. So he is providing offensive production. Now, again, we always talk about reality versus expectation. The expectation was for him to be, the third big bat in the lineup, right? I think a lot of us predicted it was going to be something like Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, and then Schwarber slash Castellanos. But he's probably more like a 4 or 5 big. When you're talking about the impact of the bats of this lineup when fully healthy, you're probably looking at Bryce, Rhys, Kyle Schwarber, and at this point, JT or Alec Boehm's bat is of more significance to Nick Castellanos. And so he's looking now like what, 4, 5, 6 in that sort of impact role. So this is kind of what you want. He's a Nightwing. I don't even think he's a Robin. He's a contributor. And when you got the bats that you have in this lineup, and when everyone is fully healthy, that does alleviate some pressure. But the expectation that we wanted him to carry this team at times, probably not going to happen very often, right? And we're still hanging our hats over that Braves game where he hit that walk-off two-run home run. So that's pretty much what Nick Castellanos is, but his hitting streak continues here in this game as well. And just be a contributor at this point, I guess, Nick. To me, he hasn't played like a $100 million player, but if he continues to contribute, I don't think that we can really kill him that much for that. Bryson Stott had obviously that home run. That was a big one in the bottom of the second to getting the runs going for sure. Obviously, you don't like the situation in the outfield. I mean, Nick Castellanos obviously is going to start out there, but you still have your worries and your concerns with Nick Castellanos. He did have a nice catch in the bottom of the fourth inning. That could have been a home run. Or at least it could have been extra bases there, but a nice little hop, and he was able to get that. He did. There was one. I think the Mike. So the one thing I was interested about was Mike Bustakas versus Noah Syndergaard. Now, for anyone who remembers the 2015 World Series, that was a little bit of a heated altercation between both those two. And so seeing the rematch between both of them, now older, going through their injuries, through new ball clubs as well. That was interesting. Mike Bustakas in his first at-bat got a little popper out to right field. Nick Castellanos, if he was a tad bit faster, may have gotten that one out, but he unfortunately did not. But that was an interesting matchup to see. But, at the end of the day, Noah Syndergaard I think he got the best of it. Mike Bustakas went 1 for 4. I can't believe that Royals team. It's crazy how they're all in just different spots at this point. Now, I know it's been like 7 years since that World Series, which is really remarkable as well, but it is kind of cool to see Mike Moustakas still in the league here. But obviously Schwarber, it was a tough day for him at the plate. There was a lot of call. He got struck out every at bat. He got struck out at. I will say this: there was like 2 or 3 of those at bats. There was just some balls that were just right outside the strike zone, or just clear balls, and the ump was calling strikes. And no, and then I will give I will give Kyle Schwarber some credit because it was frustrating, and this has happened to him a couple times. Obviously, we all remember the Angel Hernandez stuff earlier on in the season. But tonight we had Dan Lasonga, I guess that's his name. He was the home plate umpire, and yeah, his eye was just not there today. It just flat out was not there today. Now, I do feel like this does happen to Kyle Schwarber quite often. And it doesn't, to me, like, I don't think that you should be swing happy either. You should swing at what you feel comfortable with. But, like, when you got balls that are clearly right under the strike zone or clearly right above the strike zone, like, how are we calling these strikes every single time? Maybe once, okay. Twice, really? But, like, after that, it's like, you got to stop. You just got to stop. Your job is to be an ump. Your job is to call the best game. And this is why we argue we should have robo-umps. So that's essentially what went down. Gene Segura is looking for that consistency. He's obviously, still trying to come back and get comfortable from his finger injury. And, he's had a couple nice games. He's got a couple home runs. Obviously, the Sunday game against the Mets was a lot of fun as well. He put the Phillies up with his 3-run home run shot. But, he's been struggling trying to find that consistency, and we'll see what goes on. But, yeah, that outfield's not good. Nick Maton at left. Love Nick Maton. Love his energy. But he's obviously not an outfielder. And, of course, Bradley Zimmer is literally just a body. It's quite literally just a body. Hopefully Brandon Marsh can come back by the end of next week. That would be really huge here for the Philadelphia Phillies. Other great news, ladies and gentlemen, that dropped yesterday. Bryce Harper is expected to start rehab assignments with Lehigh Valley with the Iron Pigs. So I believe, So tonight he will start assignments for Lehigh Valley. The expectation is that he will be back next week, Monday, beginning of the week, when we open up a 3-game set against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. He should be back and ready for that series. So you could have Bryce Harper back here. And guys, it's getting real, guys. Because once Bryce Harper gets back, we're all going to go fucking buck wild. And all we can think about is a red and blue October. So I'm extremely excited for that. But we've seen the videos of him taking BP in Citizens Bank Park with his snapback. He's been running with this retro snapback. It looks clean, by the way. He's been running bases. So, he's going to get into some real action here tonight with Lehigh Valley. It's going to be really cool for all my Lehigh Valley season ticket holders. That's a freaking dope game to be going to, watching Bryce Harper playing with the Iron Pigs. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Of course, as well, to keep in mind, so tonight I believe we're going to have Ranger Suarez up on the mound for the Phillies, who will be starting in Game 2 at 7:05 first pitch. And also do keep in mind, there are still some weather inclements that could happen tonight. Again, there could be another thunderstorm, so there could be a delay. So just keep an eye out for that. But you got Ranger Suarez on tonight. Tomorrow you're gonna have Christopher Sanchez, and then the opener for the Thursday series. The finale for this series, you're gonna have Aaron Nola going up on the mound. So you got Suarez, Sanchez, and Nola. Thompson's explanation is the Mets really worked us. They really worked our pitcher. So he wants to give him a little bit of a rest. Christopher Sanchez is the de facto 7th pitcher essentially in this lineup. So they want to give him a little bit of a run to give some of these pitchers a break, some rest. Haven't seen or heard anything about Sir Anthony Dominguez. Obviously, the bullpen, that's one thing to keep an eye on. Obviously, tonight you saw Coonrod set up Andrew Bellotti in this game, but obviously you have Bellotti, you have Coonrod, you have Dave Robinson, some options that you can use for those later innings. Jose Alvarado is another one that you can consider as well. But for right now, when it comes to the 8th and 9th innings for these relief pitchers, it's really about who wants it the most. That's really what it is, because you obviously don't have many great options or options that have been solidified in those roles. So you're just going to have to work with what you got here. And I don't think it's going to be too bad, because this bullpen it's been a different mentality with this bullpen. It's not been a weak mentality. These guys have been willing and wanting the ball. They haven't been scared at the moment, which has been really great to see as well. But again, this is a series about, and for the rest of the season, you obviously have a lot of easier opponents. I think you got the Giants on the schedule, the Braves and the Dodgers are still on the schedule as well. So it's about getting that confidence up and getting ready for the playoffs. Hopefully we can get some more bodies out in the outfield. Obviously, Bryce Harper's not going to come back and play in the outfield. He will more likely be playing, just coming back and DHing, because there's not enough time for him to get ready for the outfield. So obviously, you want Brandon Marsh coming back as soon as possible. We do not want to see any more Bradley Zimmer. And for Nick Maton, we appreciate the effort, but it's just not what we need at the moment. So that is what is going on. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's Phillies game recap. Again, the Phillies with a big Game 1 win, getting that confidence going, getting the juices going, and that's a 4-1 victory here for the Phillies. We are back, hopefully, tonight at 7:05, as Ranger Suarez will be taking the mound for your Fightins, as Bryce Harper will be playing for the Iron Pigs. Christopher Sanchez is going to go up against Graham Ashcraft, a 5-3 on the season with a 3.97 ERA, and he's got 64 Ks on the season. And you guys know me, I do love me some Christopher Sanchez, so I am excited to watch what Don Christopher does here tonight. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you guys do hit the like button. That would really mean the world to me. Subscribe for more Phillies sports. We'll be back later today. But until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, let's go Philly sports.